David was an unemployed young man, but he had no intention of looking for work. David's primary income was based on the awards that he earned in games. David had a hobby of conquering challenging games. One day, David received an invitation to join an actual game. He curiously read carefully every line written in the invitation. "Congratulations on getting a ticket to our actual game. The winner would receive $100,000. There would be an invitation letter indicating when and where we would send it to you. We are very pleased to welcome you." David was amazed after reading the information. The game had extremely high rewards. According to the time on the invitation, David drove to the appointed place. He parked his car in front of a large building amidst a vast landscape of trees and mountains. David went with Anna, the girlfriend he had been dating for over 4 years since high school. David naturally didn't want Anna to participate in the game, but because they were riding together, he reluctantly let Anna stay in the car and went into the mansion. However, Anna begged to follow David inside. She promised only to watch David play. So the two of them held hands and entered the abandoned castle, eagerly awaiting the game ahead. But David suddenly shouted when he discovered that Anna had a secret hidden from him. David looked at the notice on the front board, which stated the game's rules. "Welcome to the Truth Castle to join in the game of lies. We invite you to take the electronic clock from inside the cabinet, carry it in hand, go into the castle and start the game. After entering the castle, the rule is simple. The participants are required to make sure that each of their words are a lie. Otherwise, they would die. 30 minutes later, if anyone could get out of the castle, he or she was the winner. Good luck." Below were the names of the participants, and coincidentally, it also had Anna's name. David and Anna, as instructed, went to get their watches and saw one missing in the cupboard. Apparently someone came first. While they were struggling to understand what was going on, another person appeared. He was a young man looking very rich. He introduced himself as Leo, who was also participating in the game. In David's heart, feeling insecure, he immediately told Anna to leave, but she refused. Not wanting to disappoint his girlfriend, David reluctantly allowed Anna to join him and got to know the guy he just met. The three quickly entered the courtyard, met the last player and a self-proclaimed organizer named Kenta. Kenta politely welcomed everyone. Before starting the game, everyone had to make a brief introduction. The first was the guy who arrived earliest. He looked like a young student. He excitedly called out to introduce himself. "Hi, I'm John." Next up was Anna. As she was about to introduce her name, David suddenly realized something. Not allowing Anna to introduce her name in time, David stopped Anna. Not in time to understand what was going on, screaming rang out beside them, scaring them both. The young man named John was suddenly poisoned and fell to his knees. As if realizing the problem, David quickly lied that his name was Anna, and Anna also understood the rules of the game. Both panicked. Anna cried and lied that her name was David. The man claiming to be the head of the organization turned to ask Leo what his name was. Leo expressed concern and lied that his name was John. After everyone finished their introductions, the organizer sternly said, "Another last thing I want to add. This game has only one winner, which also meant there was only one person who would get $100,000. Whoever told the truth in this castle would end up like that young man, dead." Afterwards, the organizer Kenta invited everyone to enter the castle. Before allowing anyone to express any concern, the organizer coldly said, The game has officially begun. The door opened automatically. It was a dark and dirty space. Anna started to panic, but she didn't think the game would be so cruel. David did not know what to do, just being by her side to comfort her. Afraid that he would miss a lying word, he took Anna's hand and wrote on Anna's hand to signal that they would communicate by writing. David wanted to tell Anna that the game only had one winner, so they needed to kill the other participant, Leo. When Anna reflexively tried to speak, David quickly covered Anna's mouth and refused to let her speak. Leo had just appeared. David gestured to Leo with his hand. It seemed everyone was afraid that they would mistake words or tell the truth. Leo motioned for David to come with him into the room to explore. After the guy entered the room, David wrote to Anna a few sentences telling her to wait for him outside as he would handle Leo. After that, he went to a pile of wood chips scattered in the corner of the house, looking for the right weapon to hand out. Luckily, he found a knife still quite sharp, hidden under a pile of wood chips. He hid the knife behind his back and entered via the other room. The sound of his footsteps softened, mostly not wanting Leo to find out. But surprisingly, David was attacked by Leo from the dark corner with a kick from behind. After that, he fell to the ground and his mouth was covered by Leo's hands, unable to let him call Anna for help. But David was one step faster. All in his plan, David raised a knife and attacked the one who wanted to kill him. In the blink of an eye, David stabbed the tip of the knife at Leo's chest. At that time, David's coldness and cruelty was like red blood clinging to the tip of his knife. David coldly pushed Leo's body forward. Then he calmly pulled the bloody knife out of Leo's body. David sighed and said to Leo, "Sorry. If I didn't kill you, it would be Anna and myself." Then David sadly turned and walked out. Anna was still standing in the same position, waiting for him as before. She saw his blood-stained body and quickly guessed what had happened inside. She suddenly changed her attitude towards him, told him in a voice full of sarcasm to commit suicide and let her win, which surprised David very much. Anna mercilessly told David that the real purpose she came here was to take home the $100,000 prize, and this contest would only have one winner. Anna also said that if David really loved her, then he would kill himself, so she could win. These hurtful words from Anna, like a sharp knife, cut deep into David's heart, which caused him both heartache and disappointment. However, Anna continued to holler David for being trash, only knowing games, having no career. For a brief moment, something terrifying happened. David grabbed the knife firmly and stabbed Anna. Anna was hurt and used the last moments of her life to look David in the eye one last time and called his name. And David, in his heart at this time, love turned into anger unexpectedly. Anna only knew money. He asked again if she ever loved him. But unlike what David thought, Anna gently said, "Of course." She loved him. Then she slightly lifted her sleeves to reveal her watch. She weakly told David, reminding him of the rules of the game he hadn't noticed, the game of lies. All the participants in the game, every word they said, were all lies, and none of them were real. David forgot about it, so without realizing it, the cynic words that Anna told him were actually lies. Anna intentionally said these things so that David would kill her with his own hands. As the last person to survive, it would be David. And her last words were true, that she did indeed, truly love him. At this point, the watch also worked. The poison quickly took Anna to death. Realizing the mistake, David held his head and shouted in anguish and despair. He cried out in disappointment, calling out Anna's name helplessly, but he wouldn't get a response. He was heartbroken, reaching out to lightly touch Anna's smiling, contented face, secretly wishing time could return. But in the end, David also made his final decision. He smiled in tears. David committed suicide. The surrounding scene sank into the original cold death. After David died, the self-proclaimed leader of the organization entered and looked at the devastating scene in front of him with cold eyes. He gently pushed his glasses upwards with a devilish smile. He said that the people participating in this game were stupid. He deceived them because he was just a participant, like them. He came here first and lied in the first place. Then he took out his notebook and listed off the following participants and prepared a plan to clean up the place. He was confident that he was the king of this game, because human greed and impatience would keep him victorious.